I think Donald Trump's victory this time in 2024 is about a lot of things and a lot of changes that have occurred in society over a very short period of time. And if you watch the media, both mainstream media and non-traditional media, although traditional media I think is on its way out, there's a lot that's being said about Trump going on podcasts and Trump doing outreach on social media and YouTube, and that having an impact in the greater voter turnout for, let's say, Trump voters. And I do believe that's true. And again, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of different reasons that Donald Trump won this most recent election. But I think one of the most significant, and I'm going to do a follow-up video on this, is that Donald Trump won men to a large degree. So he had increases in the African-American vote, the Hispanic vote, white male vote, and most of those increases came from men. And again, we can talk about the outreach, but I really think both parties, perhaps up until Donald Trump, have largely ignored many of the issues that confront mostly young to younger middle-aged men. And you may look at me and say, oh, you know, if you watch the liberal narrative for the last couple of years, you know, all they talk about is helping minorities, which again I think is a good thing, helping women, which I think is a good thing, but a whole section of the population was ignored. So what do I mean by that? Well, and I'm going to go into more detail in the next video. I'll pull up the numbers and everything. But college participation in 2024, more women, more females are going to college and graduating. The dropout rate for men is higher than females. So females are attending college at greater rates, graduating college at greater rates, getting college type jobs at greater rates. So that's having an impact on young men. What else? Drug addiction and overdoses. If you look at the drug addiction and overdose numbers, again, it is severely impacting young men. And this is regardless, this is male and female dichotomy. This is regardless of race. Men are overrepresented in drug addiction, and they're overrepresented in deaths from drug overdoses. So men also, young males are doing worse. They do worse in high school, higher dropout rates. Suicide rates are much higher amongst men than women. So what have we seen over the last 10, 20 years? And let's not forget that many of these men, I myself am a veteran. I never served in a combat zone, but many of my friends did and served during the global war on terror, Iraq, Afghanistan, all kinds of theaters. They come back to America with PTSD. They end up hooked on drugs. They end up dealing with alcohol, depression. So what have we seen? Greater dropout rates in college, greater rates of suicide, greater rates of drug addiction. The male population has been devastated in recent decades, and that has largely been ignored by the mainstream media. So the mainstream media right now is, you know, they're doing their post-mortem. How did we lose? Because they all, you know, vast majority of them supported Kamala Harris. How did we lose? How did we do this? Well, when you ignore an entire section of the population, this is what can happen. And Trump and the Trump campaign, through the podcast, through social media, reached a lot of these people who in prior elections didn't vote or wouldn't vote, and they probably never felt like they had a candidate who paid attention to their needs. Now, I'm not saying Trump is perfect on a lot of these issues, but at least he's speaking to these people, whereas the Democratic Party, they're speaking to their own people. And let's remember, people are people. All people deserve to be treated with respect and to have their needs looked at and to be cared for. So I'm gonna jump a little bit more into the numbers here in the next video, because there's more to go into about this topic. There's other societal issues that, again, have had a devastating impact on men in recent decades. And I'm not saying that these changes are for the worse. I'm not. You know, human freedom is a noble goal, and human freedom is something that we should work towards. But we have to understand that certain things that we do as a society is going to have consequences, and we have to learn how to deal with it. So I'm going to go into more detail in the next video, and I'll back up everything that I just told you with the numbers, and maybe we can come together as a country and start to look at all the people in this country who are in crisis and who need help and care. All right, thank you very much.